What's up, guys? My name is Terrence Blackwell with Blackwell Legacy Group, and we teach businesses how to systemize their businesses, providing processes and systems and help them scale and grow. So we are interviewing business owners and people that you guys should know. And today we have Kenisha McIntosh. So tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Thank you, Terrence. Hey, friends. My name is Kenisha B. Like Terrence said, I am the founder of My Tribe Essentials. It's a luxury herbal and aromatherapy brand. We specialize in soy essential oil candles, essential oil blends, and coming soon, we have a lot of products that deal with the skin and internally with the body that are all handcrafted and handmade. But outside of My Tribe Essentials, I'm a strategist and a consultant. And so I do a lot of work with small businesses and just helping them through the pre-entrepreneurial stage, so learning and figuring out exactly what their business looks like, and then helping them with foundational tools, things like websites, marketing, social media management, strategy, and just kind of honing in on who they're talking to, their customer, and what they're offering. And yeah, that is who I am.
Awesome. That's awesome. So what made you get started in this business?
My Tribe Essentials, man, it was really, so I'm a certified life and business coach as well. And that's kind of where my background comes from. And pre-pandemic, I was traveling the world doing speaking engagements at least twice a year internationally. And, for people who travel internationally, you know that it does have an effect on the body, right? From trying different foods to the long flights to the difference in time zones.
Yeah.
I mean, it will throw your whole thing off, right?
Yeah.
And I was going to these places and I wasn't staying there long for some trips. It was like a 4-day trip. And then I come back and my body would be, in kind of a disarray. And so I actually wanted to create products for travelers on the go, right? Things that we could just take with us, namely essential oils that would support our bodies and kind of just maintaining a balance no matter where you were. And I did that and it was amazing. And we had a great, 2019 was when I started it. And I became a full-time entrepreneur, quit my job, full-fledged in the business. And then 2020 comes and the pandemic happens and people can't travel, right? And so it's like, how do you make this business viable? How do you continue it when your product, right, the proprietary thing was like, this is for travelers. When the people can't travel, I actually just pivoted the business and ended up using the same essential oil combinations and putting it in a candle and being able to provide the same type of health benefits, but at home instead of on the go. And so that's where My Tribe Essentials started, really just something to do for people who were traveling, and then became something to do for people no matter whether they were at home or at somebody else's home or on a plane or wherever.
That's big. And you said something that I want to pick up on. So you said something about pivot. So let me speak on that for a second. So I remember like when the pandemic first happened, we were in the process. So one of our main products is writing business plans for companies, for startups. So we were in the process of we had just finished a business plan for a client, and the pandemic really hit. And it was like, all right, you guys are going to lockdown.
Yeah.
So imagine this business was a brick and mortar business. So it's not going to survive.
Right.
So we literally had to like revamp the whole plan and like really look at it from a different aspect. So now instead of having that business as a brick and mortar, now it has to be mobile. Now we're able to go to people's homes and stuff like that. So now it's super important too when I think about the pivot. So in that time, we're in the age of the digital pivot. Right. So if you think about businesses now are either offering products online, or they have some type of course, or they have some type of webinar or something that is digital. So a lot of businesses now are doing things digital. Even from the restaurant industry, they had to digitally pivot as well. So you see like DoorDash, you see like Grubhub, whatever. They had to pivot so they can still get their product out. And the businesses that you've seen that didn't make that pivot, they're not in business anymore. They're not in business anymore. So I think that's key. And I wanted to make sure that people really honed in on that, took that point from what you said to really understand, to know and understand going into business in 2022, there has to be a digital aspect to your business. You have to be online. You have to have, social media, I think is really good, but you have to have a resource where people can reach you outside of social media. So if your Facebook accounts get shut down, how are they going to reach you? Right. So you have to have email marketing. You have to use, like this YouTube and things like that. So, that's a very key point. I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, I mean, you hit the head on the nail with that one. And I remember when I was getting my MBA, we read a book about Sergey and Brin, right? That's the two who started Google.
Mm-hmm.
And it talked about, it kind of referenced BlackBerry, right? And how BlackBerry, who was once at the top of the game. I mean, every professional, every corporate space, everybody had a BlackBerry. It was the way to message, right? And then iPhone was like, well, people want audio with their phone. And BlackBerry was like, we don't actually think so. We just think they want to be able to call and send messages. And they didn't want to stay, they didn't want to pivot, right? They didn't want to change what they were doing and be inclusive to the times, and no longer. And, the same thing with Netflix and Blockbuster.
Yeah.
Like, Blockbuster was the thing. That's where you went to get videos, right? And now you can't find one. You won't. Because again, they were like, hey, people pivot. People want stuff at their house. They don't want to come to you anymore. They just want you to send it to them. They want access quickly. And they were like, no, people are just going to come in here and rent movies. And now, everyone knows what Netflix is.
Yeah, 100%. It's a household name at this point. And you know what? I think it's so important, when you look at business, you have to look at business that's why it's so important to have a team of people, because when you look at business, you have to look at it from an analytical standpoint as well, because there's so much data that's going to tell you exactly what that business is going to do. So when you look at a business, you have to look at the trend of the market that you're in. So if the market says that it's going to a digital age, then you can't stay in like a Blockbuster. You can't stay there and think that you're going to survive because, I'm Blockbuster. No, that's ego. You're going to fail. You know what I'm saying? So, but we do the same thing in business as well. Even now, we have to always make sure that we're keeping up with some type of trend. If the business is trending a certain way, we have to figure out a way to get a part of it. I had a client that asked me earlier, this is super off topic. A client that asked me a couple of weeks ago, they were like, what do you think about NFTs? And at the time I had just found out about it. I didn't know anything too much about it. And I was like, well, I don't know much about it, but I think you should get into it if you can get into it.
Right.
The reason why is I remember when Bitcoin first came out. When Bitcoin first came out, same thing. I'm very familiar with the financial industry, worked in the financial industry. So, I was like, well, based on stocks, the Bitcoin didn't make sense because when you measure stocks, it's measured off of, it's called like aristocrats. So businesses that have been in business for 100 years, 200 years, whatever. And these businesses, they've shown a trajectory of, all right, they're gonna give you this so much, in a return each month. But with Bitcoin, because it's so new, you can't predict like if it's going to give you a return. So I was like, I wouldn't mess with it.
Yeah.
And that was probably the worst advice I ever gave anybody, because, you can't say. So now I say, as far as NFTs, get into it if you can. But, but the point of that is just, whatever the trend is, you have to be mindful of it and you have to adjust into that. So if you have a brick and mortar business now, make sure that you are having some type of digital aspect to it where people can order online, people can, get your product delivered to them. So definitely stay ahead of the curve.
Absolutely. And I mean, a lot of mom and pop shops and a lot of smaller businesses do suffer when they don't want to acknowledge, like you said, the trends and what's coming. And, you don't have to be full-fledged e-commerce, but just have the availability and the flexibility to be open. Doesn't mean that you have to give up the brick and mortar. Doesn't mean that you have to stop selling essential oil blends to travelers. It just means that you recognize that there is something new that you also have to adopt to be able to survive. And that's really what it takes to be a successful business, is just the flexibility to survive.
100%. Let me ask you this, because you're a solopreneur, right?
Yep.
So with that being said, what made you want to make that pivot? Because I know sometimes, for bigger businesses, even small, medium-sized businesses, a lot of times they have like a board or, a conglomerate of people around them that can help them make decisions. So what made you, as being the sole, entrepreneur, make that decision that I want to make this pivot?
Man, I mean, I wish I could honestly pinpoint one thing, but I don't think I can. And to be like 100% transparent, I am somebody that follows my spirit 100% of the time. And there has been many occasions throughout my life in the, few decades I've been on this earth that I have not known why. I've just done, and it pays off. And so the crazy thing was that I was working for a nonprofit, a global nonprofit organization before the pandemic hit. And in July, I went on this yoga retreat earlier that year in about April. And I had this epiphany that I needed to be an entrepreneur, but I was tiptoeing because I was making good money. I had great benefits. The organization is huge. I could probably go work anywhere in the world. I was like, okay, like I got this job. I don't want to lose it. I know I can move up in the organization. So everything was telling me, everything was showing me that I should stay here.
Yeah.
But my spirit was like, girl, go quit that job. You just got to quit the job. I was like, but I don't have enough money saved up. Like I have a mortgage, I got car note and, responsibilities. And it was like, quit. Okay. Just stop. We know you can't see it, and that's fine. Yeah. And so I went and I talked with my boss, and it had been a series of events that led me to the point where I was like, I can't even do this anymore. Like I was really feeling sick going into work, like physically ill. And so one day I just, asked them, I was like, hey, I actually just want to work from home 2 days a week instead of one. Yeah. And it was such a fight for me to get that. And I was like, okay, so wait a minute. I do exemplary work in here, and I'm just asking for flexibility in where I work, not the time, not the, and they were willing to pay me more. They were willing to give me like different support, like we'll hire somebody on the team, but they would not let me work from home one more day. Wow. That was such a daunting moment for me and so I told, like, it got all the way up to the executive director of our team. And even she was willing to offer me $10,000 more to not work from home 2 days a week.
That's crazy.
And I was like, do y'all realize that there could come a point where no one works in this office? And months later, COVID.
Exactly what happened.
And my manager literally called me like, are you psychic or something? I said, no, but when my spirit tells me to do something and I hear it very clearly, being a spiritual being, I cannot not listen, because then that's when the accidents start happening and things start getting worse. And then it's like a snowball of a series of fortunate events happening to you because you're not being moved when you're told to move. Yeah. And so, I say all that to say again, like, I don't think there was one like strong moment, but it was just a series of like the yoga
up to it.
And this thing. And then COVID reassured me. I was like, yo, like, I was tripping out when COVID happened, because I'm like, man, like July, I was saying something about this. And then here we are, January, February, and it actualized. Like now it's one of you guys, So the whole team ended up going virtual, and then they ended up going down to 2 people. So for me, I didn't lose because they had to fire everybody.
It was going to happen anyway. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I knew where it was going. And so I was just trying to be proactive and getting there. And again, just the inflexibility to allow me to do something that was going to make me what I felt was going to help me do my job better. I was like, okay, you guys don't want to work with me. I don't want to work for you. And I'm out. So
Talk about the transition period between working corporate and making good money to an entrepreneur. Here we go.
Man. Okay. So like what I love about myself is that I know who I am. And a lot of my assets to a corporate space were my assets in entrepreneurship, right? Like great customer service skills, the ability to understand who I'm talking to. I was working in a hospitality space in corporate America. I've managed hotels. I was working in meetings and travel. And so I already understood like a customer experience, right? What, like how to give people what they pay for and then some without going over budget. And so all of those, what I call the pre-entrepreneurial things, helped me to be a little bit more grounded when I became a solopreneur. But there are things that you can't account for. Like I did not account for COVID. Like I could not have accounted for COVID.
Nobody did.
There's no way to know that was coming for me. And so no one knew what to do. So it wasn't like a manual. It's like, oh yeah, so when there's a national, global pandemic, this is how you function in business. And so that coupled with losing family members in the beginning of COVID kind of threw me for a curveball. And I took a couple of months to reassess what I was doing. where I was going, what I wanted to say, who I wanted to talk to, what I wanted to sell. And it was a challenge. It was a challenge financially. You know, although I had savings, like I had to spend more money trying to keep myself alive, and you can't go outside, so things get more expensive, and gas went crazy, you know. So again, like, you can prepare and plan for as much as you think that you can cover, and life will still throw you curveballs, lemons, limes, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's all just gonna come. But I think it is amazing when you know who you are and you have a team, you have a tribe of people that you can tap into when you don't know. And they may not know, but they may know somebody who does know, or they may have some words that kind of stick with you. And so, you know, shout out to the tribe for me, because I did have people who kind of ushered me through those dark spaces and those times where I was like, why did I quit that job? I need I need this money right now. Like, I definitely could use a steady check. But, you know, just reassuring myself that sacrifice for success. You know, I've always said that I wanted my story to be super colorful. And, you know, just toting the line and just staying inside the box is not a colorful story. It's pretty black and white to me. And so, you know, I look back on those seasons and I'm excited because I made it through them. And it makes my story that much more colorful.
That's cool. You spoke on your tribe, and for people who may not know, I know what you mean by it, but and you mean partnerships, right? You mean people that surround you that you've helped and built relationships with. Can you talk about that a little bit? Because I think we look at, when we build a team, I think people look at it, you know, they don't look at it multifaceted. They look at it from one aspect. So, you know, when you look at a team doesn't always have to be someone that works, you know, specifically to your company. The team can be, you know, your lawyers, your doctors, your consultants, your social media people, whoever. So can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, man. I mean, I would not have survived any parts of my life without a tribe, honestly. Right. And one of my favorite quotes is an African proverb that says, if you want to go quicker, or if you want to go faster, go alone. If you want to go farther, go together. And I believe that, yeah, you can do it by yourself and you will probably get there because it's all your ideas and all your work and all, but you also be exhausted and lonely.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? You'll be at the top looking at everybody who you didn't bring with you, and they'll be staring at you like, you know, like, and I never wanted that to be me. I never want that for me. And so I'm grateful to have cultivated relationships through social media, right, in person, that I can literally like search for a name in my phone and text them and be like, hey, I don't know how to do X, Y, and Z. And I'll have a response. I mean, I'll be, you know, super quick, but somebody's going to reach out and reach back and be like, oh, hey girl. Yeah. Like, you know, I got you. And it's also important to barter. You know, like, bartering for me is a lifesaver because I know how to do so many things. I may not have the money, you know, the monetary value to give, but in services, bartering services is how I've survived in the pandemic. Right. And I think it's important to have people that know your heart, know that you're passionate about this thing, know that you're serious about it, because they will look out for you. 100%. And they'll work with you and they'll be like, all right, girl, I know where you're going. I see you. You know, I know we're not there yet, but I've built amazing partnerships and collaborations from people who I've just had great conversation with in DMs. And, you know, we follow the same pages or we see each other's comments and we're like, yes, that's how I feel. And, you know, it's just that level of alignment. It's that level of knowing self and being able to recognize other people that has provided me with a great tribe of people who are multifaceted themselves and who know so much and do so much. And so again, I like to think of myself as a human Rolodex, right? Like, I just know people. I don't know why they're not always needed in that season, but they come up, and when they do, I know them already. I don't have to like, man, I don't know anybody in marketing. Never met a marketer. Like, I know so many people.
You know somebody.
They don't, nothing to do with candles, nothing to do with herbal products. I just know them, but it's great to know them because when I need, or if somebody else needs, I can refer, you know, and so it's always good to look out for your people and just make sure that you have a solid group around you to push you through.
I think that's important too. And that's something that I live by as well. And I mean, honestly, that's how we met. You know, we met from a similar situation. But, you know, I'm big on, you know, anytime I'm on a call with somebody, You know, if they're like, man, I need somebody who does plumbing. Oh, I know I
Mm-hmm.
know a plumber. Where area do you
Right.
live in? I know somebody that can be there in 5 minutes. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So that's so important to not only be able to like share those resources, because a lot of times it's not a thing of like, hey, I'm about to send you a client, you know, I'm about to
Mm-hmm.
see this invoice to go with it. I don't care about that,
No.
because it's a thing of, you have to know that it's a real thing of like seed time and harvest. So, you know, when you plant good seeds, those things come back to you, you know, tenfold, hundredfold. So,
Absolutely.
and that's what I live life on. I live life on, you know, how many seeds can I put out? How many good things can I do for people? Because I know it's going to come back. You know what I'm saying?
For
And it's
sure.
not always monetary. Sometimes it's just, you know, doing something nice for somebody, doing something nice for a client, doing something for whoever. It don't even have to be anybody that we physically know. But
Yeah.
those things, when you actually do it and you do it with nothing, you're not expecting anything, and that return is just so good because you're doing something, and you know, you're not even saying, hey guys, I did this for this person.
Right. See
It's
me.
just,
Yeah.
yeah, it's just, you know, just do it, and it's gonna come back 100%.
And you never know who you're helping. You
100%.
never know
Yep.
the level of impact that one phone call had made, or the
Yeah.
level of impact that your text message connecting them did.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've been able to foster so many friendships and relationships just by connecting dots. And then, 3 years later, I come back like, girl, from that one partnership, we've been able to do da 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 da
Yeah.
da.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, amazing.
Yeah.
I'm so
Great.
happy that worked out. Like,
Yep.
that's beautiful.
Yep.
And so, yeah, you're right. Like, you just never know how it's going to show up for you, but just always know, with the best intentions and the clearest of minds and the cleanest of hearts, you could do amazing things
Yeah.
for $0 and 0 cents.
Yeah. I had a conversation. It's so crazy. This literally just happened a couple of days ago.
Mm-hmm.
So I had a conversation. It started off so simple. Social media. I see somebody post something on social media, and I just reposted it on my Instagram live. I mean, on my Instagram story.
Mm-hmm.
So, not thinking anything of it, just posted it. I just seen something nice. I was like, my people should know about this as well.
Mm-hmm.
So the person messaged me and was like, hey, thank you for sharing my post. Cool. That turned into, hey, look, go follow my YouTube page. All right, cool. Here's mine, follow mine. He was like, look, can you subscribe to my email marketing? I was like, okay, cool. Here's mine too. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Then he was like, look, can we get on a call? Okay, here's my number. Call me.
Right.
So
Right.
we got on a quick call. Oh, quick. It turned into like an hour long just call. I've never met this person before in my life. And he was it's so crazy. This person that I met with, they were like a mindset coach, which is really cool. I love that space. But he didn't even know that I'm building out my course. And one of the things that I'm still tweaking is the mindset thing, because when I'm building a course, I don't think I told you this, but I'm building out my course or finish my course. And one of the first things I think that people need to like really hone in on is the mindset going into entrepreneurship. So I'm being very intentional and it's very intentional about how I do the mindset part, because I think that can be a make and break in being an entrepreneur. So knowing that, if you hear no, it's okay, just keep going, knowing how to fail forward. I always talk about that book, Failing Forward. So, but those little things that you can do, you never know what those things will turn into. So, but yeah, it's always look at yourself as a resource and look at yourself from an aspect of how you can help somebody else, and it's going to come back.
For sure. And be open.
Yeah,
The
be
universe
open.
blesses us, and sometimes because it doesn't look like how we thought it was supposed to be packaged, we don't think it's for us.
Mm-hmm.
Lo and behold, I'll answer, I'll respond, I'll reach out, I connect. And I mean, again, I've been surprised many times, like, yo, how did that just happen? Like, I just spoke about it.
Yeah.
And then, so I believe in vibrations, and I believe that our words attract what we need, and our words let the universe know how to direct our moves. And so if you say something, you put it out there, you think it, you believe it, best believe that it will come. I don't know when.
Energies attract. So going back to this guy, so within the conversation, I'm helping him just as much as he's helping me. I'm like, yo, you need to do this, this, and this. This is how you package your programs, how you sell it. You need to sell it for this amount. Like I'm like, we literally going in. I'm like, he's like, yo, you gave me a lot of information. I'm like, thank you. It's not a biggie. I had a similar conversation with we're launching another product or another business in April. And with that product, I seen someone who's doing something similar, different style, but they're doing something similar. So I reached out to a guy and I was like, hey, I seen you doing something similar. I've actually created something, kind of like it, but different platform. I was like, can we connect and, have a conversation? He was like, well, I charge for a session. Cool. What is your price? I don't care if you charge. And never heard back because he answered from an aspect of anger, I guess, right.
Yeah,
because
ego,
he don't even know who he's talking to. I can drop so much information on him that to change his business, but that's, we have to be careful in that too. That again, mindset is so important. So we have to be so responsible, or understand like who we're talking to or what we're doing, and intentional about what we do, because you can literally lose out on opportunities based on how you respond to things.
For sure. Or not responding to them at all.
Or not responding.
Just because the package don't look like what you would have thought it looked like, you never know what that blessing is about.
Yep. And who knows? This person's probably saying, "Hey, dang, I need help," or "Man, I wish I could make an extra."
And you got all the gems. You got all the gems that right there for free. You could have gave it to him for the low or for free.
I wouldn't even thought about charging them.
Right, because it was going to be an equal exchange of energy. Exactly. But the universe looked out for you. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes we want to connect with certain people because they, or what we see aligns, but what we're feeling doesn't.
Yeah.
And the universe be like, we said no.
Don't mess with it.
We're glad you reached out and stop. Right. Yeah. And so my theme for this year is manifesting moments of gratitude, even in the lows. And so sometimes as an entrepreneur, especially, there are low moments and it's hard to see your way through those. And it's hard to see what it looks like on the other side because there is no rule book, right?
Yeah, that's true.
If you're working for somebody and the lights go out, there's a procedure. If you're working and the system shut, there is somebody to call. When you are by yourself, you are the procedure. You are the person. There's nothing else. And so, when I felt that last year, there were so many moments of like missed gratitude moments that I could have manifested if I would have just had a different mindset about it and looked at it as not like a final point. This is such a crushing moment, but like, this is just an experience.
Yeah.
This is something as an entrepreneur, I experienced this low, but I am grateful for. Yeah. And so in this space, in this year, I know that there will be lows that come, but how can I manifest moments of gratitude, even in that space? And what did that look like? How does that change the story for me moving forward? Right. Is it like, y'all, I just lost 15,000 running this ad? Or is it like, yo, I learned 17 things when I did it. You know what I'm saying? Like, so people have to, again, something else that entrepreneurs need is like that, knowing how to switch that switch on and off, because you are the determining factor in what happens next in your story, right? You could look at all your lows and speak about it from a place of lack, from a place of ego. Like, I can't believe this happened to me. Like, why wouldn't it happen to you? You know what I'm saying? Like, who are you to not have these experiences? Or you could be like, yo, this happened to me. Like, okay, I've experienced this. I can speak about it from a place of this. And this is what I learned. And this is what I can teach people moving forward. And so, again, just manifesting moments of gratitude, even in those lows, is really, really going to be an important journey for me this year. And I'm excited to see what it looks like.
100%. So I have two more questions. I only have 4 in general, but you keep talking and I'm like, oh, I got another question.
I love this. I love it.
So, all right. So you talked about something just now. You talked about the lows, but talk about the ebbs and flows of being an entrepreneur.
Man, I mean, it ebbs and flows hourly. Okay. Ebbs and flows.
About a minute.
Like, you just, I remember, like, I have, a monthly goal that I like to hit, financial goal. And I'm like, okay, like, this is the goal. This is what you got to do. You got to do this many emails, this many lives, this many posts today. And sometimes it works.
That's a nugget. Hold on. Don't go too fast. You're going too fast. That is a nugget right there. That is a nugget. I'm sorry. I know I said 2 more questions, but that's a nugget. Talk about it. So let's talk about that. So what you just said was, and I think so many people miss this. So having a goal, and I'm going to assume that goal is written down, right?
Absolutely.
So not only is it written down, you have metrics in place to make sure that, okay, if I do live this many times, if I post, if I do email campaigns this many times, then I should hit my goal, right?
Absolutely.
That's so key. That's a gem, honestly, because we hear, goal setting, set goals, right down your goals, blah, blah, blah. But we don't do them. But they're so important. They're so important. This is something that I implemented like a couple of years ago that I think is so important. And it works for me. It may not work for everybody. So what I do is whatever my goal is for that month or for the year or whatever, I incorporate it in everything that I do. So let's say that my goal for the month is 10,000, right? So if 10,000 is my goal for the month, then what I'll do is I'll change all of my passwords to whatever my password is. So Blackwell 10K exclamation, that's my password.
Wow.
Also, I'll do like a sticky note on my bathroom mirror, 10K. When I open up my computer, 10K. So I'll do those things to remind myself, oh crap, I gotta make 10K. Yep. But we got 1 week left in the month. How can I make this extra 2,500?
Yep.
Because now I'm programming myself to always think about my goals. Now, another thing that you can do is write down your goals daily, which I always recommend that too, especially if you're just starting off with like goal setting. This creates a discipline. So write down your goal, write out your day. So hour by hour, what are you going to do tomorrow? Then what are the 6 things that you have to do tomorrow? So for an example, if it's, a content creation day, all right, I'm going to create content from 8 to 1 or 8 to 11, from 11 to 12, I'm gonna eat lunch, whatever. So like, I think it's so important too that we write out our days, especially as entrepreneurs, because if not, we'll get so lost. It's so easy being an entrepreneur. You're working on content, you're working on an email campaign, then your mom call. You're on the phone with mom for an hour. Yeah, mom, all right, I gotta go. On the phone with her for an hour and a half. Now it's throwing your whole schedule off. Absolutely. So I think it's important that we are like disciplined within our day-to-day things to make sure that we hit our goals. So my bad. That was a great point.
Listen, I'm learning something too. And I mean, it's something important in what you said. There's a gem there, right? Like, not only did you write it down and seen it everywhere and posted it everywhere, that's the law of attraction.
Yeah, 100%.
That's what that is, and these are things that scientifically are proven to work, right? And so I absolutely believe in that. I have macro goals. So I may have monthly macro goals. Yeah. I may have a daily macro goal. And then I have micro goals that lead to the macro. Yeah. And I know for some people like me, I get overwhelmed. You know me, I got tons of ideas, tabs all open. Everything is loading at the same time. You know what I'm saying? And I can get lost. And then I'll look at the day and be like, so I did nothing today again. You know what I'm saying? Like, how did this happen? Like, the time is doing what it wants to do. And I've had all these things going, but I didn't get to do them because I didn't stick to those goals. I didn't stick to the micro goals. I didn't read those 10 pages a day to be able to say I read 50 pages this week. You know what I'm saying? You have to break things down into bite-sized pieces that you can quantify. So again, if my goal is to read 100 pages for the week, cool, I'm going to read X amount of pages for the day. And however long that takes you, you can track that. Okay, it takes me 45 minutes to read 30 pages in a day. Cool. So now I can dedicate an hour, give myself a little wiggle room to use the bathroom or pick up the phone and say, call you back, or, be honest with yourself. Right. And again, going back to that pre-entrepreneur, do you read best in the morning time? Do you retain information in the day, or do you need to do it before you go to bed because you can journal it out? Like, what works best for you is something that is really, really important. So for you, it works best to change passwords and see it on your computer. For somebody else, maybe they need to record a voice note and play it every morning. You know what I'm saying? Because sound is the thing that works for them and they can write it. And so it's trial and error. Here's
another one too. What my wife does, she will actually set alarms throughout the day. Now she does it for affirmations. So like, it might be something like at 1:00, I am a money magnet. Right. It could be something like that, or whatever your affirmation is, you can do that as well. Or you can do your goals. So you can do your goals 2-3 times a day to set alarms for it to go off. And, just to remind you, 10K. All right, boom, whatever. So it's so many different ways that you can do it to attract whatever it is that your goal is.
Absolutely. Sorry.
No problem.
No, I have a alarm for specific times of day that remind me to stay out of the universe's way. right? Like that's literally what my alarm says. Stay out of the universe's way.
Wow. That's
because
big.
knowing myself, I'm an organized person. I'm an
Mhm.
efficiency person.
Mhm.
I do a lot because I can. I have the
Yeah.
ability, the capability to do a
Yeah.
lot. So I do. But I'm also someone that blocks what's coming because I'm doing and not
Yeah.
being
Not
still and
receiving.
not
Yeah.
being patient. So I don't have the time. I'm not even paying attention because I'm like on go mode.
Yeah.
And so at certain times of the day where I know that I'm working and there'll be a point where I'm getting overwhelmed, but I won't stop myself.
Yeah.
I literally have an alarm that says like, be your own blessing, stay out of the universe's way.
That's
You know
big.
what I'm saying?
That's big.
But that's my thing. That's the thing that I know about myself. And so I had to alarm myself to chill out because I go too hard in the paint sometimes. And I don't know, there's no one else to tell me, don't do that. Right. And so I gotta be mindful and set that goal to know when it's time to tap out. So no, I love that.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. That's good.
I can't remember what the main question was. I know we got off the goal.
We were talking about ebbs and flows,
but it was
we're talking about ebbs and flows. Yeah, that's what it was.
Yes. Okay. So I mean, again, daily ebbs and flows, conversational ebbs and flows, right?
Yeah.
Like it's all about being flexible.
Mhm.
And I can make a schedule for the day, and by the end of the day, it'll be another schedule.
Yeah.
Right. It just is what it is. My thing is, I'm always looking for what makes the most impact. And a lot of what I prioritize is impactful work. And so it may not seem like the most pertinent thing to do for the day, but it's the thing that's going to give me the most impact for the week, perhaps, or for the month. Right. And so, I may need to record 3 reels this week, but that's not my priority over making sure that I have my email marketing done. Yeah. Because that has the most reach or the most impact for my customer. The reels are nice. Yeah. They're going to be fun. They're going to be creative. They're going to get people liking and following. But if my market is if I make the most money in emails, I'm going to prioritize doing those emails because that is the impact for me. Yeah. And that's the truth, right? Mm-hmm. Like people will go to my page and they're like, oh, this is great. Like, I love that you post so much. And I'm like, thanks. That's basic content for me. I could be doing so much more, but I am busy working on these emails that get me more money than the reel will for sure. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So you have to know your business and you just have to be flexible. And, I know we do goal set and work hard and we, have smart goals and we want to do our best, but being flexible has allowed me to lower my blood pressure. Okay. Cause that is also something that entrepreneurs definitely struggle with, and also just gain clarity, right? Yeah. Like a lot of the times, because we have so much knowledge, we want to tell the universe what to do. And again, I had to remind myself, girl, stay out of the universe's way. You don't even know what's over here, but they
probably don't even want it.
Right. Right. You're so focused on getting something done by 9 a.m. that you don't realize if you had just rested a little longer, you would have been prepared for this emergency, special phone call that we had coming for you at 12. You don't even know that the call is coming through yet, but the universe does. And so, at the same time, you definitely want to be focused and put your blinders on and make sure that you are completing and getting things done that have great impact. You also want to realize that it's not always going to be that way. Yeah, 100%. And you have to build wiggle room to have that special flexibility so that you don't break if things don't go your way. You have to be able to be flexible and bend, so to speak, with your schedule and with your goals and pivoting. All of these are key in business, but specifically for entrepreneurs who don't have guides, right? Like the team has to vote on things and the board has to come together and meet, and you might have to wait for those things to happen and those decisions to be made. But when you're a solopreneur, you are making the decision in that 100%. Moment. Yep. Like you are the decision, the key holders, the stakeholders, you are that person. And so things won't always be right. You won't always make the best move. But again, if you can manifest moments of gratitude in those lows, in those ebbs, you go and be all right. Yeah, it's going to be, super colorful on the other side. Yeah, 100%. I promise. Really, I got another question. So, all right. So we've been working together, 3 months, maybe? Man, I don't even know. Time is doing something. Yeah. So since September, October, November, December, January, 5 months. Wow. That's big. Yeah. Okay.
So tell me something that you've learned since working with us.
Oh man, so many gems. I think that what I appreciate working with you guys is just a level of clarity that I gain. Not many people. So I'll say this. I tend to gravitate towards people who I feel are smarter than me.
Okay.
And not smarter, like, IQ, like, I don't know what that is, but what I equate intelligence to is like the ability to provide knowledge in a way that is understood.
Okay.
Right. Okay. And so what I appreciate is that every time I jump on a call, every time we have a conversation, every time you send something my way, I learn something new.
That's big.
And that doesn't happen with all of my interactions throughout the day. And so I make I make sure that I try to stick to our times as much as possible, because I don't take it for granted that I know I'm going to learn something new. And I'm excited about that, because I won't leave the conversation the way I came into it. That's and it might only be 30 minutes. It might only be an hour, but I don't know what in my life is going to change because I had the call. You know what I'm saying? And so for me, it's just the level of impact and learning something new, which is like a driving force in my life, is to always be a student. And so I look at these as like teacher interactions, right? Like I'm learning from someone about something that I have no idea, or I have an idea, but it's just said in a different way. Or, you teach me a different aspect to something that I know, and I'm able to come out of it and share that with someone else, or I'm able to come out of it and automatically implement. And so it makes me better when I'm working with you. I'm getting better as as we build. So that's my thing. I'm like, what are we talking about today? Because I know it's gonna be something. What do we got going on? And I got a lot going on. So anytime you can kind of stop me in my tracks, and I'm like, yep, all right, I'll do it. Done and done. It's a good day for me.
Good. And I thank you for that. I appreciate that. That means a lot. Definitely means a lot.
Absolutely.
Definitely means a lot. Last question, I promise. This is the last one. I know I've said it 3 times, but
listen, I'm a speaker, so I'm here for the conversations.
So what book are you currently reading, or a book that you've read in the past that you want to just kind of let people know about?
Man, so I'll tell you about the book I'm currently reading, which I never thought that I would be reading a book like this at all, but it's called The Herbal Green Witch. And it's very interesting. What people equate to a witch to be, but a witch is by definition someone who can take elements and turn them into something else, right? People are witches. That's just what it is, right? Like if you can make ice from water, that's sorcery. It is, and we can all do that. So So I'm reading this book because I want to grow in my herbal knowledge, and I want to use it in a way that is healing. And I'm not trying to become a doctor. I don't want to go to school to get an MD. That's not my goal. But my goal is to support entrepreneurs in an herbal capacity at the same time. Right. Because we don't talk about the underlying conditions that come with like thugging it out and sticking out on face and grinding and like, again, blood pressure, right? Sleepless nights. Your body is not getting enough exercise. We are dehydrated. Our brains are always thinking, so we don't meditate enough. There's so many health issues that come when you say, I'm going to step out on faith and become an entrepreneur or a solopreneur.
Blood pressure goes
crazy, right? And we don't always have the awareness to see the little things that are happening, right? Things like hair loss, things like skin discoloration, things like these are all things that our body's like, hey girl, something's happening. Hey friend, you might want to look at over here. Like even for me, when I'm stressed out, my scalp literally does this whole thing where my hair looks like it's just going crazy. And I've had to create systems, and I've also had to create products to support my hair when I get to these stressful points, because it only happens when I'm stressed. But because I have the knowledge, I've been able to be like, all right, girl, shut that down, shut that down. Your body is telling you no thanks, right? And so I want to be that for entrepreneurs specifically, because we don't have entrepreneur doctors, right? Like we got doctors that'll kind of generalize, but they don't ask you your occupation if you don't work for somebody. You know what I'm saying?
True. Yeah, it's true.
They're not like, oh, you're self-employed. Okay. Like there's a whole a regimen for people who are self-employed. They don't have that.
Yeah.
And so I'm reading the book, the Herbal Green Witch, so that I can figure out how to support. Again, I wanted to do the essential oils for travelers.
Yeah.
I want to make herbal products for entrepreneurs. I want to support the people that I am, that, supporting myself really. And how can I change my health from an herbal perspective? How can I change it from a natural, like, the world provides us with everything that we need.
Yeah,
right.
100%.
The sun, the water, the moon, everything is already here. These things have been growing since the beginning of time, and they didn't die yet because they have a purpose.
Yeah.
Right. So like, if lavender still grows, we need to be using lavender, right?
Yeah.
Put the ZzzQuil down and get you some lavender.
Yeah.
That's just what it is. And so I've been like looking at ways like, how can I really formulate this? How can I really grow this business to specifically support people like me who don't notice that they are having too many sleepless nights because nobody's telling them to get more rest, right? Like, or they are, but they're like, girl, I got to finish it. I got to reach this goal. I don't have time for sleep. I got things to do, and it's only me, right? And so can I make a tea for you that won't make you sleepy, but will make you calm?
Yeah.
Right. Can I provide a candle for you that'll allow you to focus, but at the same time, it'll release it'll release like herbal benefits that will support your circulation or, your mental capacity. Can I do that? And the answer is yes. Yes, I can. And I'm doing it. And so I'm excited to see what comes of this. I haven't, I didn't buy the book specifically thinking about this, but as I was reading it, I'm like, I need this. Okay. I need to make this for myself today. And so I'm like, man, if it's something that I need, maybe I've got friends who also need the same thing.
100%.
So that's what I'm reading right now. And I encourage anyone who's into herbalism, anyone who's into natural remedies or some type of, homeopathic support for the body to read about like herbalism, read The Green Witch. There's like a whole series of books about garden witches and kitchen witches and green witches, but it's literally just how can you take elements and turn them into something else? Yeah,
100%. So I have 2 points, and I'm sorry when you be talking.
No, go ahead.
So I watched this documentary this week, and it's on. You ever heard of Lilith? The person. So Lilith was the first wife of Adam.
Oh, Lilith.
Lilith, I'm sorry.
Lilith. Yeah. Okay. Yep, I know Lilith. Yep.
So she was considered like the first like witch, right? So when you said that, I was like, oh, okay, So that's the first thing I thought about. Yep. The second thing is, there's a book I read a couple years ago, and it's called "By Any Means Necessary." You ever heard of it?
I feel like I've seen the cover of the book, but I've never read it.
It's a great book. So I gave up beef and pork probably, I don't know, 10 years now. I haven't eaten beef and pork in about 10 years. So like when I started the journey, it was more so just a challenge or a fast. And I just kind of, I just do it for 30 days, you know what I'm saying? So did it for 30 days. And then I ran across this book. And as I'm reading, like, I'm like, oh my goodness, like it's so many. So one of the misconceptions that it talks about in the book is, we eat steak for protein or beef for protein, right? But the protein doesn't come from the beef. The protein comes from what they eat, the greens. So the book breaks down like some of the misconceptions, some of the myths that come along with how you eat. So it talks about, how to eat, all the different meats that you eat. And like the benefits and the things that they say that are supposed to be good things and not necessarily as good. So like, with cows, like the mental, like what they go through mentally from seeing other cows, being slaughtered, or pigs, seeing other things being slaughtered, even chickens being in coops and, all the different diseases because they're like using the bathroom on each other, etc.
Absolutely.
Even turkey, turkey is, I still eat turkey, but
every now and then I might, every now and then, but I mean, it might be once a year, if that, twice a year, if that.
So just kind of having an idea. The book talks about just having an idea of like what you put into your body. Organic. It talks about organic food. It breaks everything down. It's like, most organic foods are. So there's no regulations on the labeling of food. So to say that something is organic is literally just a label.
Yep.
You're just paying a little bit more for something that they say is, they say it's organic. So it's a great book. It kind of, goes into what we're saying, talking about too.
I mean, and it's important to know, because people don't really connect the dots to how food plays a part in how they think.
Yep.
How food plays a part in how they sleep.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? It plays a part in how you process. And like you were saying, like the energy in food is important.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about energy, and energy is measurable. Energy is felt. Energy cannot be destroyed.
Yep.
And so the same way, I like to tell people, they're like, oh, it's just a cow. I'm like, if a dog was abused by someone and then they saw that person again, you would see that they remembered that they were abused. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can feel the energy.
Yeah.
And so if you were to experience that cow before it was slaughtered, you could feel the energy. And then you would see the meat and be completely disgusted by it.
Mm-hmm.
And, I'm going to share this really quickly, and then I'll let you go for sure. But so I practice different modalities of spirituality and herbalism. And, I have these experiences where I like fast and I'll like clear myself out and get super aligned. And it'll be a day where I do like deep meditation. And so I experience the world differently the next day. Yeah. Like, it's kind of like having, taking off the rose colored lenses and be like, yo, this is crazy.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I remember doing it one day, and I went, and this is when I was still eating chicken. I don't eat chicken. I haven't eaten beef and pork in decades. That's never been, my dad was a cook and he did not cook beef or pork, so we didn't eat it. We definitely grew up more pescatarian, being Caribbean. And so a lot of seafood in the diet. And even now I'm trying to scale back on the seafood, because where is this coming from? But long story short, I was still eating chicken, and I remember going to get curry chicken from this Caribbean restaurant after, this whole fasting thing. And I looked at the chicken and I was just like, how could I eat you? I can't even eat you, right? Because what a struggle. I just felt like I felt the struggle of the chicken looking at the plate. And so, people aren't as mindful, or we don't have the clarity or the awareness to be as mindful as we're taking these things in. Yeah. But not only are you taking in whatever the animal experienced, but you're taking in, what it ate, which who knows what that is, right?
Yeah, who knows?
And so I definitely want to be on the educator side of just putting people on to ways that they can implement little things, right? We're not trying to get everybody to be a vegan or, trying to get everybody to eat raw vegetables. Like, that is not my ministry. Yeah. But I would like us to not take so much Western medicines, right, that create just as much as it destroys, just as much as it supports. I would like us to get to a space where we can feel good about meditating and being still, and not saying like, oh, that doesn't work for me, right? Like, everybody has a brain, and everybody's brain needs a break. Like, that's just how that works. It's not, it may be different types of meditation, but everybody needs this. Right. And so I do want to get to a space where I can create this tribe mentality where we're all like, hey, let's join in on this. Is essential for the tribe. Meditation is essential. Eating healthy is essential. Buying these herbal remedies or teas, using these products are essential to really having success in life. And so, that's my goal. That's what I'm working on.
Good. Tell people again who you are, your brand, and where they can find you.
Yes. So, friends, I am Kenisha B McIntosh of My Tribe Essentials. And I also have an affirmation card line called Hey Friends, Hey. And it's just a 31-day affirmation journey from a friend to a friend to support you with whatever it is that you have going on. And so check me out on Instagram at Kenisha B McIntosh or at My Tribe Essentials _. You can head over to my website, mytribe-essentials.com, to check out the products. And I'm on Facebook, Kenisha B McIntosh or My Tribe Essentials. I'm on TikTok under the same names. I'm really, really excited to be doing new things this year. So make sure you join and subscribe to the tribe on my website so that you can stay updated to what I have coming next.
Awesome. Guys, make sure you go ahead and subscribe to all the different social media outlets for Kenisha. I appreciate you again for doing this interview. Again, my name is Terrence Blackwell, Blackwell Legacy Group, and we are out. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.